G'day. Welcome everybody to the DeFi Down Under channel. Today, special guest, Dom fan, Street Buddha. How you going there, mate?
I'm going awesome, bro. I'm going awesome.
Awesome, thanks. Good to have you on. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate the time that we get with you. Obviously, this is the second time we've done the DeFi Down Under's come MMA Down Under, because we just stoked to have access to like an elite fighter like yourself, and we're just really stoked to watch you your journey and doing so well.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, man. Look, first things first, like congratulations on your quarterfinal win in the road to UFC in Shanghai. That was an epic fight, and you just absolutely executed what looked like your game plan, and it was an awesome fight to watch.
It was a lot of fun, man. It was the first time in a while that I've gone in as that much of an underdog. I think that's the biggest underdog I've gone in at. I think the betting had me at 5-1, and it's kind of a little like exciting and nerve-wracking feeling going into something like that, because it's like everyone's expecting you to lose at that point. And I was going up against an undefeated guy, so I had to be the first one to show that he can be defeated, to show some flaws in his game, and I got to do that. So it was a lot of fun.
Man, Yuji is an absolute scary dude. Like, he is a weapon, and it's no sort of shock that they just thought that this guy, 11-0, and I mean, maybe they just underrated the old Street Buddha there by giving the odds a little bit. We're a little bit crazy, but look, that worked for me, right? Because I was able to put a couple of sneaky bets on, and then now I'm able to give it back to the fans and the PulseChain community in the form of a giveaway. So I'm going to give away 12 million PLS today. So I'm going to do it in two things, maybe one at the start of the stream, one at the end. And but I mean, that's thanks to you. Like, you put in the hard work. I was just sitting there drinking beer and like egging you on. So yeah, thanks for that.
Awesome, bro. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So many people had a lot of faith in me. A lot of people I know actually put a bet on me, which is cool. It definitely was one of those things where I know, win, lose, or draw. I think the odds makers got that completely wrong. They didn't do their research enough. I think they looked at on paper that guy absolutely should have won. But I think if they actually went and watched any of the fights, I think it's completely different. It was cool, man. I do this thing post fight where I like to go back and I watch anything that I was trying to avoid before the fight, like any comments people were saying, any previews people were doing on the fights and stuff. And this one was really cool, man. Like, it was like I 95% of people, man, were like saying that Yuji was just going to run through me, and that was just like the easiest win for him. And there was one channel that was like, I don't remember the name of it. I wish I did, but they made me in the thumbnail of their video for like the betting odds, and they were like, "Man, this guy is the dark horse. This guy is the one to bet on." They're like, "If you actually go watch his fights, man,
if you know
like,
what's
his only
up.
2 losses, to a UFC fighter that is doing really, really well. And if you watch the
I was going to mention that.
winning." Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those situations. If you know, you know. And I think a lot of people that knew me had that faith, and they put bets on me, which was all very cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I train MMA and obviously just a fan of the sport and everything. And I sort of knew that, and we talked about it like at great length during our last chat about how like that UG guy's game was, keeping space and just delivering these gruesome kicks. He just was so powerful and all this sort of stuff. But I was like, yeah, but if Dom can get some entries and then just smothers the, bejesus out of him, then and it gets the takedowns, and it's like, if you can keep it in your range, in your realm, then he's going to struggle, right? Because he's probably never had someone take the fight to him like that before. And you could see that, like the look on his face. I'll show some clips because he looks shocked. I think he actually looks shocked, like wasn't prepared to be there. So yeah, it was pretty epic. But yeah, speaking, because you mentioned just now, I mean, your record is unbelievable. Like it's really quite an impressive record. And the two losses that stand out here, you know, I hope everyone can see this, but it's Quillan Sarkid. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Quillan Sarkid is now a UFC fighter, and he just did his debut not so long ago. I watched it, and he towed that guy up. Like he was playing with him, and he just looked like an absolute, like, I think he'll go on to be, you know, really competitive at the highest levels. So to say that, you know, your only loss is against someone who's like literally world class, I think that puts you up there as well. You know what I mean? And even your losses were hugely competitive as well. But all your wins, man, like you've got the full suite of the arsenal at your disposal. You know, you've got the takedowns, the elbows, the submissions, the strikes. So you're really like a well-rounded fighter. And yeah, I think everyone's sort of starting to recognize that now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I've got a lot of threats. A lot of my threats that I haven't even used in fights that much. Mostly because like I'll find a path to a finish usually without having to use a lot of other threats. Um, but like my elbows were definitely on display for the last one. Like I got to like show that off, like elbows on the feet, landing big elbows on him coming in, and it worked out really well. You know, like we kind of knew going in, my coach had game plan that um, he throws very wide. Like his arms are very wide when he throws. He's not like a straight puncher. And as a result, like that center line is kind of available for me to capture. Um, and if I keep making distance, like a lot of his opponents do, then like they kind of walk straight onto a big knee or big kick. But because I kind of like closed the distance each time and I crashed him with elbows, it gave him a big threat. So now you got a guy who he actually doesn't usually go backwards that much. He kind of like goes forward with like all these crazy threats of power. But he's not actually a guy that is like drop stepping on the back foot, McGregor style or anything like that. It's usually like he's rushing forward with big, powerful shots. And in people's attempt to try to get away from it, that's usually when he cleans them up. But I didn't allow him to do that. You know, like I had that
Yes.
grapple threat, so he didn't have the option of doing that. And then I also had the elbow threat. So we even ended up in that situation in the third where I kind of like chased him across the cage, punching him after cracking him. And it's like I very rarely in the fight had to take a backward step, and that was kind of a big part of the plan, especially with a guy like Yuji.
Man, I want to show that clip, and I want to talk to you about some of the things that happened during that fight, because it was a really fun fight to watch. Like it was, I think you're a really entertaining fighter. So that's a credit to you. But yeah, you know, you executed your plan, and from what we were talking about, what would be working to your strengths, and you just executed on the day. And so that's a credit to you, and I guess to your coaches as well. That was amazing. I should probably just say hello to the chat here and maybe do this first giveaway. So what is up, Luca Sandip? Good to see you. Crypto Class, she's doing a giveaway, I think, as well in about a week with Hodprul and some others. Frank White, bang bang. Sup, bro? Hexagon lost in Asia. Tom's going to be there very shortly. How did you go while I'm going through this? How did you go in Shanghai? Like, how was the cultural experience of
It was
fighting
cool,
MMA?
man. Um, I really enjoyed it. Like I went there a week before the fight, and for that week, I just kind of was a bit of a hermit, so I didn't get to experience a lot. But then I went there. I stayed a week after the fight, and I got to enjoy Shanghai a little bit. You know, like I got to
Awesome,
like my dad's Chinese, so you know it's in my blood, and I got to experience like you know, like haggling an old Chinese lady down from
awesome.
$5 to $3 for different items. I got to experience trying all different food that like was questionable to say the least, and
Yeah,
I had a
yeah.
lot of fun with it, man. I had a blast.
Awesome, man. That sounds like a wicked experience. And I think this next fight that's coming up on is it the 22nd of August? That's in a bigger arena, like a bigger sort of
Yeah, yeah.
stadium
So
or something.
this one's in the Shanghai Indoor Stadium. The last one was in the UFC PI. So essentially, it was only like UFC sponsored, sorry, UFC sponsors that were like allowed to have tickets and stuff to it. Um, this one is a little bit more open to the public. So it'll be a
Awesome.
much bigger crowd. But I like that. Early in my career, I didn't like that. Nowadays, I really do enjoy it. I kind of like I feed off the crowd a little bit, you know.
That's wicked. That's really cool. Just a quick shout out to Fishing on Saturn, True Blue, my old mates, Ash, what's up? Jim Cork, reposting. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. And Crypto Jake, smash the like and subscribe. Much appreciated. Yeah, we normally do crypto streams every other Friday. And Jukaboos, what is up? So, wow, there's a lot of people in here. I suspect people are keen for the giveaway because I've seen a lot of new people here, and that's awesome. That's good to see. Pulse Jutsu. Yes, because he can kill us. That's correct. So, what I'm going to do is there's a giveaway tool. I should be able to just bring it up here. And so I'm going to do 2 giveaways, 6 million pulse each. It's roughly about $250 USD. I'm going to do it twice. So I'll do one now and then maybe one in the end. And so if I can get people in the chat I think you have to put in hashtag and then let's go PulseChain. So PulseChin. And then once you guys have put that in the chat, I'll just run this giveaway tool. It should select someone and then yeah, just give me your PulseChain address, or it's the same address if it's an Ethereum address, and then I will just send it to you after the stream. So put that in the chat, just put PulseChain, like hashtag PulseChain in the chat, and then I'll run the tool and see what's up. Someone put pimp chain. It won't find that, bro. Like that's not how it works. So yeah, put it in the chat, PulseChain. I'll just play maybe a quick clip while we're waiting for people to put that in the chat there. Give everyone a chance. So yeah, I was really impressed with your takedowns and your ability to close that distance. There's quite a few. I had so many to choose from, so I'm just going to show some clips. But for the people who didn't see the fight, you know. But feel free to talk over this if you want to like point anything out. Like they're
Will it
not
let me
terribly
talk?
long.
I remember last time
I, th-
it didn't let
I think I
me
have to
talk.
unmute you, or maybe you have to unmute yourself because it automatically
Okay.
mutes you. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's,
He's a fighter I've studied, you know, in
right.
trying to like develop my style, and I got to have a chat in the lead up with him where he was like, "Hey, like I noticed you do these things and I do these things. Where'd you get that from?" I was like, "Funnily enough, Mr. Michael Chiesa, I got it from yourself." So it was really cool.
Noticed this.
Um,
He
that
did
was
say that.
easily one of the best moments.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's cool. You got the bit of a fanboy moment there. That's wicked. To meet one of your idols, that's great. But yeah, he did mention that. He said, I really like how this guy Dom does this, and he does this as well. In fact, there's similar things to what I do. So yeah, I really like his style. That's pretty funny. There's another one here. Yeah, man, like that's a hard day at the office. He was making you earn that.
Yes.
But your elbows were just vicious. Uh, and I liked how when you got out of the clinch, when you got that break, you immediately recognized the opportunity. But I noticed you nearly always went to elbows from the break in the clinch. Like I thought maybe you'd go to strikes because I thought maybe if you're in the clinch, you'd be using the elbows. Then when you break, you'd go for the strikes. But you still came through with the elbows, and it was like, oh, they look nasty.
Yeah, like what? So what I was talking about before is like we kind of at Team Compton really focus on working attack and defense as like kind of woven together. I think a lot of gyms you'll see them kind of they attack and then they defend, or they defend and then they attack. But we kind of like to go on the same beat. Because a lot of the time the other guy is most vulnerable when they're throwing their own attack. And
Sure.
elbows can be a really good way of doing this against like a wild puncher, right? Someone's
Right.
throwing wild, they're kind of making a bunch of space. When I'm throwing my elbow, everything's kind of protected here, like my chin's
Ah,
protected by my shoulder, like my eyebrow line is kind of protected from like their big arms swinging and cracking me across the head. So
right.
it's kind of a nice little way of like going, hey, like he's gonna like rush straight into me, let's make a train crash happen, but it's going to be on my terms where I'm safe and he's in the dangerous position.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you're one of the fighters I love to see always having your hands up. I don't like watching fighters have with their hands down and just eating strikes, and you're thinking, bro, put your hands up. It's like any coach, any sensei in the world is just like shaking their head right now. But
Yeah.
but you do that really well, and so because you're able to sort of cover up with your elbows, and then you also the elbows are right there for the strike, and particularly if they're rushing towards you, you can, like you say, put a stop to their momentum.
Yeah,
Uh,
their momentum runs them onto the elbow, and them running into something as pointy and hard as that, like when they're coming full speed with a power punch, it hurts, man. It sucks
oh
to
yeah,
get hit
yeah,
by that.
oh yeah, yeah. We do a similar thing with I forget the word for it, but yeah, you're basically using your elbows to actually block strikes, and
Yeah.
it's vicious when you have someone do it to you as well. Let's do this giveaway. So I've just done, the told everyone to put PulseChain in the chat. So yeah, let's start collecting comments and see what happens. So it looks like there's 11 entries. I think this possibly is because people putting pump chain and stuff in there. So all right, let's draw it. Let's see what's up. There's 11 people. Let's run it. And it can't be True Blue because we'll get in trouble. Connor Riley, winner. Well done, bro. So Connor Riley, can you please give me your Twitter like your, if you've got an X account, or contact me direct on my my Twitter handle is just here at Ingve Wild. Excellent. So, and then I'll literally just send me your PulseChain address, or it's a Ethereum address, and I'll literally send you 6 million Pulse. Simple as that. So congrats to Connor Riley. That was a late entry too, so smashed it. I'm going to do one more at the end of the stream, so stick around. I've only got Dom for the hour. He's obviously a busy man training for his next fight and flying out to Shanghai, so we appreciate his time. But yeah, congratulations to Connor. Oh, sweet. There we go there. All right, cool, man. I've got that. So I'll contact you or contact me. Either way, we'll suss it out. Too easy. All right, well, that worked well. Let's have a look at what else is up. So yeah, we talked about your entries, your elbows, man. I got to show this for the crowd. Like, look away if you're squeamish or whatever, because this one and the next clip. Anyway, it speaks for itself. So did that elbow land? Because it looked like it did, but the commentator said it didn't.
No, I did. I reckon, man, during that fight, I reckon I landed honestly like 40 plus elbows.
Like,
Some some of them didn't look awesome on the stream. Um, but like felt like devastating. Like there was some where we were in the clinch and I've kind of thrown like a tomahawk elbow where I've gone like the point
yes,
of my elbow, like right in the center of his eye socket, and it felt like it like was crushing his face, man. It felt awesome.
bro.
Um, they
I've got
they
that
didn't
clip.
look great on they didn't look great on the stream, but oh my god, it felt like it was killing him. I was happy about it.
No, they did. They did look great, man. They did. I've got that clip and it's amazing. And the next one as well, like they just were vicious. And I like the way you sort of you've got that sort of control even in his guard, but you've just got even with a small amount of room, just enough to just drop those elbows. And it just I was amazed that some of those just didn't knock him out clean, but they certainly cut him up and he did not look great. Um, yeah, let's
That
have a look at
he is a seriously tough guy, man. Like he was able to
mm,
wear some serious damage. I thought for sure by the end of the second round, when like I was feeling myself in the second round, I thought for sure I was going to finish him. So for him to like survive that, like that dude is like insane. I was putting an onslaught on him.
yeah, he's a warrior. Yeah, full credit to Yuji. That was uh, it was an epic fight, is all you can really say. But yeah, I liked this one because you just like absolutely mauled him. Like just didn't let him do it. Yeah, I just like the way that you sort of made him earn it. Then you sort of turned the tables on him and were like, now you're in my realm, and you just far out just smothered him.
Yeah, yeah. So I got lots of traps and tactics that I do with the ground and pound. I dare say that I systemize my ground and pound more than any of the guys that I see in the UFC. Um, and I really do set people up for stuff. Like that big elbow at the beginning that cut him, like it's a setup that I've like drilled, I've taught to people before. And it works really, really well. Um, and also like I've got a little bit of a strategic approach in terms of like um winning the war, not just the battle, in terms of like I'm not just trying to land every single elbow. Sometimes I'm just trying to make him work. Sometimes I'm just trying to make him carry me in inefficient positions. um People have this kind of response when you hit them really really explosively and you do a lot of damage. They kind of get like this like surge of adrenaline where it's like they just start fighting for their life, and for the space of like 10 to maybe 30 seconds they feel like inhumanly strong, but they're sending all their energy and adrenaline and they're about to be like exhausted. And um after I've landed a big shot like that, it's less important that I land the shots after that. It's more important that I just keep something on him. Like it's almost like an effect. Like he's in a pool, he's like drowning under the water. He wants to poke his head back up, but I'm pulling him down every time. Just the second he starts getting a little bit of air, I'm pulling him back down. Um, and it's a horrible feeling because he's
Yeah.
exploding. He's in a crazy sprint like state where he's just like trying to get out, and then as a result, this opens up big time for me to like snatch up the neck or to land future big shots. And I'm actually tactically recovering, even though I'm throwing shots. I'm being
Yes.
smart with my breathing. I'm recovering during that time. And then like if that clip went for a little bit longer, a big explosive flurry had then come out from me. Um, and I was only able to do that because I kind of set it up in that way, you know?
Oh, 100%, man. Like you're making him carry your weight. And like you say, every time he tries to explode out of that, he burns his adrenaline and then give it 10, 15 seconds, that exhaustion kicks in and the psychological like pressure of just being smothered and sort of knowing that you just exploded out of it and you're still in this same position and you've done it twice now and it's still like you it psychologically wears you down if you think that hang on, I gave it everything and he's still on top of me. So yeah, awesome to see. And I think, like you say, it kind of makes your setups for the submissions easier because if they're struggling to breathe, then when you go to put on the rear naked choke or something, they might tap out sooner because they're already like fatigued, they're already out of breath and exhausted. So there was one rear naked choke that you put on. I cannot believe that he didn't tap for it. So I'll just
Me
play it
neither,
now.
bro.
I thought
Me
this was the end of the
neither.
fight. I was just like,
So did I.
because yeah, so did you. Yeah, awesome. Because I've had people put on DAS chokes on me from the side, guillotines from the side, and rear naked chokes from the side. And that carotid artery, it sucks, man. Like you put it on from the side, it's almost worse than when you have. And so you had it on the side, and I was like, this is over. But anyway, I'll play it. I'll stop.
Big old sound, like it's music to my ears when I'm in there. I knew it
Oof.
landed hard. I felt the shock through my elbow, and I was like, I thought, yeah, I did think he was going to get finished from the rear naked. This is what I mean about like the undefeated fighter aspect. Like when I watched his fights, like it's not just like he was undefeated. There was pretty much almost no footage of him losing at like any points during his fights. Like I think there was one fight where he got dropped, and then I think there was maybe one or two where he got taken down, but immediately he just stood back up and then reversed the guy. So there wasn't any footage of him like getting bashed. Like that wasn't out there. That doesn't exist. Um, so yeah, like when I had the rear naked choke on, I could feel I get a pretty good sense of when someone's ready to quit, and there was no quit in him. There was like he genuinely. It didn't feel like he felt like he was going to lose. He felt like he knew he was just going to find his way out, and it was strange. So I thought I was going to put him to sleep because I was like, oh, like he's not going to tap. I'm going to put him to sleep right now, and then he just kept rotating somehow. I could hear him gagging. I could see even from the angle I was in his eyeballs popping out of his head,
You can
man.
see his
And I
eyeballs
was
coming
like,
out as well.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, like he's gonna go to
I
sleep.
stood up. I was like, it's over. I was like, but
Yeah, I was smiling at the crowd, man, because I was giving him a little nod at the crowd, like that's done, that's game over. And then when he slipped out, I did kind of have like maybe a little bit of an adrenaline dump, like oh man, like I thought I definitely had him, but
I
I
think there was
definitely
so much. Sorry to interrupt. I think there was so much blood that he slipped out because of the blood and sweat. I think that was
yeah
like, I don't know how else to explain it. I think maybe if that was earlier in the rounds, it would have finished him. But somehow, because there was just sweat and blood and everything, and it just kind of like he just somehow slipped out.
yeah
Anyway, I think maybe half a second longer, and he would have been unconscious because I still don't quite know how he got out of that. But anyway,
yeah for sure, 100%.
And look, this next one, I'm not criticizing, but I also would think that I cannot believe that you didn't finish him with this. This is the flurry of strikes at the end. I thought that this was over as well, bro. I was like, oh, well, this is definitely over now. Like, anyway, I'll just quickly show it. So this is the last clip of Dom.
Yeah,
It
I
was
just
like,
look so
bang, 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 bang,
I look
bang.
so
It was
I
like,
look so angry
what?
in that clip. It looks like I'm just chasing him, like he said something disrespectful to my missus, and I'm just chasing
Yeah.
after him. Yeah, that
Just
was funny.
literally. But how many
Um,
clean shots did you hit him with in that sequence? And
oh
he didn't go
man,
down.
yeah, in that third round, like they scored that round to him, the third round,
What?
which was insane to me, right? So the scoring was all judges unanimous was it was a 10-9 in the first one to me, and then it was a 10-8 in the second to me because I like bashed him and it was very
Yeah,
close
yeah,
to a
yeah.
finish. And then the third round they scored to him. And I had actually recognized this in the moment when it happened because I got cut, but it was from a headbutt. So like he threw some
Uh,
elbows. I moved my head out of the way from it. I felt it hit my shoulder, and I went, "Yeah, I'm all good." And I went to square my head back up so I could throw an elbow on him. But as I did, his top of his head smacked me in the eyebrow, and I've touched my eyebrow, and I've gone, "Oh fuck, that's bleeding." They're gonna, and I knew in that moment, I'm like, man, like I better put this guy to sleep because or else they're gonna score this round to him. and
Wow.
it's something I take really personally because apart from Quillen, no one has taken a round off me since 2019 throughout my whole pro career and my like pretty much most of my amateur career. Therefore, no one has taken a round off me, like only Quillen.
Wow.
So like even the fights that went the distance, it was always 30-27 in my favor. So I was like, I don't want to give this guy even a round. Like I'm gonna win this, but this guy doesn't deserve a round. And
Bro,
it was crazy,
you
man,
won that
because
round.
yeah,
Like,
there was that
no
big
way, man.
flurry. There were a few other, I think, two exchanges where I landed a big stiff overhand left, and like I seen his knees go, um, which means like it very well could have dropped him, you know.
Mm. I mean, any one of
So
those, like a tomahawk, elbow, some people would go down from that. Hit him once, twice, three times clean. I mean, to me, that's like he's almost not defending himself, and they could have almost stopped it. Like that's, and then to think that he didn't win the round, it's like that's a match winning sort of sequence almost. Like that to me
yeah,
is like the thing that means that you won because he was that out of it. So to think that he
yeah.
won that round is
Well,
doesn't sit
well,
right with me. But anyway,
yeah. Well, even worse, man. This is uh right after the fight, right? Steve, my head coach, he walks in the corner. Third round's just finished. He's giving me some water. He goes, "All right, good news and bad news. Good news, I think you won the fight. Bad news is, if you didn't win the fight and that turns out to be a draw, I just found out that you have to go in there and do another round." And I went, "What are
oh
you talking
what?
about?" Yeah, I told him. I was like, "No, you're taking a piss." He was like, "No, I just found out from one of the officials. Apparently, it's in the contract." And I was like,
Yeah,
"No
yeah,
way." I wasn't believing it. I was like, "There's no chance." He was like, "Mate, stop and think about it." He's like, "It's a tournament. Only one guy can go through. They can't have a
yeah.
draw."
They can't have a draw.
And then, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Because I sent it in the fight. Like I used all my energy. So then
Yeah,
he was like,
you use your
"Man, like."
reserves. Yeah,
He's like, "Man, I need you to switch on. You might have to go out there." So I went, "All right, yep, all right, I'm ready, coach. Let's go, let's go. Like, let's
yeah.
go out there one more round." So then when they like raised my hand, they went, "Where is Dom Ed?" Huge part of me celebrating was like, "Yes, I don't have to do another round." I'm so tired from that shit.
That's
um,
awesome.
because there's such a difference, and I think it's easy to forget. There's a big difference in a fight, although it is scored identically, if I land an elbow and I put a little bit of energy in it, compared to if I reach to the skies and I send all my weight and energy into that, like a big
Right.
explosion, that's
Yeah.
scored pretty much the same. You know, they just go, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's one strike. Awesome." Right? That's a significant strike either way. Um, but when I'm in there, I'm not trying to win the fight on points. I'm trying to kill this guy with these shots, right? So when I'm landing these elbows, I'm dropping my whole weight into these elbows and I'm
Mm.
trying to kill him. So in me thinking that it was my last round, any of those shots that I'm sending with everything. I'm trying to kill him
Yeah.
with them. So then like when I found out like, oh, there might be a fourth round, I'm like, fuck, well, I probably would have played it a little different if I thought there was
A
four
little bit
rounds.
different. Well, maybe it was good
But
that you
yeah,
didn't know it's, on the cards
yes,
'cause
because
it
it
enabled you
ended up
to.
being maybe a little bit more impressive of performance. Maybe I would have conserved myself too much, but yeah, it turned out it was in the contract, but I didn't read the contract,
Yeah.
literally just because it was like, well, there's nothing that's going to be in this contract that tells me, oh no, I'm not going to sign this. Like I'm not going to go into Road to UFC because it's been my dream to fight in the UFC since I was a kid. Um, and there's no negotiations with like UFC contracts if you're on your way in. So it was like I didn't even need to look at it. I just signed it. Um, but that would have been good to know. I probably should have read it.
Look, I think it worked out. Is all I can say.
Yeah,
And the only thing is, like, you kind of did it to yourself a little bit because I felt like you could have finished him earlier. There was a couple of times where you probably like harsh criticism, like obviously, but like I feel like, or maybe just usually was such a warrior that he just refused to tap on that RNC and just I don't know how. He's just got a solid chin. He just didn't go down from those strikes. But I felt like, you know, you could have finished that fight earlier, is what I thought. And then towards the end, he came back and he like made you pay almost like. And I was thinking, oh, Dom's done enough anyway. Like it's fine. But I was like, yeah, it's almost like he got a second chance. So but I think maybe that's just a credit to him as a fighter, like that he didn't give up.
Yeah, look, this is the flip side of my game, right? So like I would say I'm an exciting fighter, and part of that is because I take risks, okay? And there's an inherent risk to using excess energy, like I said, to like get those more powerful strikes. Um, and also to get like a really powerful choke. And sometimes that risk pays off in terms of like when I fought Tom Pratt and I sent the squeeze in the first minute and a half, and I tapped him out in the first minute and a half of an MMA fight, you know, and then that looks really really good. But there are times where like that fight where I sent the squeeze against Yuji, thinking that I had him and thought I had sniffed out the win. But then he did well to survive it, and I have to deal with the payoff of that, where it's like, man, like I put a lot into that squeeze, like my arms are a bit like tired and a little bit slower, you know. But that's a game that we play, you know, like fair play to Yuji, like for him to be able to navigate his way through not getting finished and all those different times, that's seriously impressive. And I really do believe that if Yuji got matched up against anyone else in the tournament, he wouldn't have just like beaten them. I think he would have finished them. I think he would have finished any of these other guys. So I was conscious of the fact going into that like, hey, I've kind of drawn the number one seed in the first bracket for the tournament. So I was like, yeah, like you know, even though it went to decision, I'm super stoked with that win. Like that's a win that it'll give me power going forward, you know, being that much of an underdog and having this undefeated guy from a foreign country. Like it feels like a bit like a Rocky movie, you know, and I got to be Rocky. So I'm very, very pleased with it.
No, you should be super proud of that, bro. You know, we love to see it. And like I say, credit to Yuji for being an amazing warrior. But it was entertaining. It was a really fun, you know, entertaining fight to watch. So he did really well. So I guess the thing is now, you know, you will be looking forward to your next fight, which is only in 2 weeks, or maybe less. And it's against, is it Jae-Hoon Park? The South Korean guy.
Jae-Hoon Park.
Jae-Hoon Park. I mean, so this guy, is he come out of the Korean Zombie MMA? Because so Korean Zombie is like obviously a prodigious UFC fighter.
Yeah.
So these got some serious trainers. I mean, you've got Team Compton and massive trainers there, but I think this guy, and looking at some of his fight, he is a formidable opponent. Like he's no joke. So I guess all your focus now is on him.
Yeah, man. I think Jae-Hoon Park is very similar to me in many ways, that he doesn't have a shiny undefeated record. He's got some losses, but you can see in his game that his losses have actually made him better. He has gotten like him before he had lost to like him now, like it's drastically different fighters. And I think he's got a lot of skills. I do think he's really, really good. And again, I almost have to feel bad for some of these guys because he would absolutely have a really good shot at winning this tournament if it wasn't for the fact that he's just run into the street putter.
Exactly.
Because I do think that what I have to offer is a lot more dangerous than what he has to offer. I think he's got a lot of skills, but I don't think he's the same finisher that I am. And I think he will be a really good fight to show off a lot of the skills that I have.
Well, he's going to be a completely different fight. I'm conscious of the time, so what I will do is I'll set up this last giveaway. what I'll get people to do is, if you guys want to participate in the giveaway, I'm going to give away a second lot of 6 million PLS. So one has already been given away. I'll send it to him after the stream. But yeah, so what you have to do is just in the chat, just put hashtag, and let's just put hex. So HEX, hashtag hex. And yeah, put it in the chat, hashtag hex. We'll have a look at a couple of clips. I'll give you guys some time to put it in the chat, and it'll run the giveaway tool. Find your handle, and then we'll give you the crypto. So yeah, just so we're on the same page here, I was looking at Jae Hwan Park last night. Unfortunately, there were two fighters that have the surname Park, both from South Korea. And I started watching the first fight, right? And I was like, this guy's got his guard down, doesn't look that great. I'm like, oh man, Dom's going to have a field day with this guy. And then anyway, he lost. And I was like, what? How has he progressed in the thing? And it's like, it's a different Park. And I looked and I'm going, oh, holy crap, it's fully not the right guy. And then I started watching, Jae Hwan Park. And I'm like, oh no, this guy's way better. He's like, his guard's up. He's like, he's doing everything right. He's got like the full, he actually looks like a good, well-rounded fighter. He's good on the ground. I mean, I didn't see the submission game that I've seen you do in your previous fights, but it could go to ground. It looks like he wanted to take it to ground. So it's going to be interesting. Let me just quickly show a couple of things that I saw. It wasn't like, because I'm just, an armchair critic, you have to excuse me, but I noticed there was a couple of things where I was just like, ooh. The first one was, he was fighting an Aussie and he did really well. Unfortunately, that Aussie didn't win that one, but we know how we're talking before about the exit from the clinch, like the break, and then that opportunity. So I think Yuji and yourself did it really well to recognize the opportunity when you have that break from the clinch, that there is like that few milliseconds where there's shots on the cards. But in this exchange, he's doing knees and he's just focusing on those knees, and then they break and his hands are down. And I think he gets clocked. I'll see. I think it's this one. I see. It's a small criticism. You can see. I'll just play it again real quick, just for the start. So it's just a small thing that I noticed. It's like he wasn't super quick off that break to put his hands up, or to, and just seemed a little slow. I don't know.
But yeah, I think like my head coach Steve Compton, his initial background was like a Jeet Kune Do background, and one of the concepts that is really important in there is that we value effectiveness more than what we value is technically right. Okay, so for an example, Yuji, hands typically super low, he's thrown from his hip, but like he had 11 wins, 9 of which were finishes, 6 of which were like first round finishes. So like he's not doing anything traditionally right, but he's absolutely killing people, And I don't think that's a case of like, oh, if you put his hands up, now he'll just get drastically better. I think one of the reasons he's so great is because he's really hard to prepare for in that way. I think Jae Quinn Park is very good and very skilled, but I find that a lot easier to prepare for the style in which he's doing. That's very easy for a training partner to emulate. That's not very difficult. I think he's good, but like I don't think just because someone has their guard up, I don't think that that makes them actually that much harder to hit. Um,
Sure. Okay.
most guys that keep their hands low, they deal with keeping themselves safe by throwing strikes to make the other person get out of the way and be
Mhm.
out of position, or they're using head movement to get out of the way,
Mhm.
which some people move their head a lot better when their hands are lower. Um, I
Okay.
think the way that Jae Huynh Park fights, I think I'll find a lot easier to control the pace of the fight, to control where the fight goes, and to kind of be the one in the driver's seat. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, I do really well at dismantling guys that are like quite stock standard like him in that way, that aren't super unorthodox like Yuji. I think
Right.
Yuji was a much harder style for me to deal with, and I think Jaquin Park has a lot of skills, but I think I'm way more used to dealing with a style like his.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's exactly right. Like if his style is just a bit more sort of common, you probably with your training partners have had that, you know, every other day. But I mean, he don't get me wrong, he looks dangerous, and he, when he got the back of that Aussie guy, he was just laying into him, and it was formidable. But I just sort of thought, yeah, that's interesting on the break from the clinch. There's like a slight delay there. Um, but yeah, easy to say when you're not, coughing strikes or knees or whatever, who's sitting in an armchair with a beer in hand. But yeah, this takedown that he did as well, I thought, like, this is the type of shit that I do. I try and I see people do, which is like that feint and then with an overhand and then the takedown. Um, hopefully at your level, and then he gets noosed like into a guillotine, and I was like, wow, that's interesting because, and then he sort of like lets it go. I'll show the clip. I'll stop talking about it. Okay, that was a slightly different one than I was thought. That one wasn't the overhand, but he did a couple of overhand and then to lead into the takedowns. But I think that was just like a jab and a takedown. But then he does just go straight into that guillotine. And I thought, oh, Dom's guillotines are deadly. Like, I just feel like that could be one thing that's going to work in your favor if his head placements on those takedowns.
Yeah, I think I'm look, I think Jack Becker had a bad night in the office for that fight because he usually is a pretty good fighter, but I think he was doing a lot of things, which I think he would tell you the same. I think he was just doing a lot of things wrong that maybe the moment got to him a little bit. Um, I do think as well that I'm more of a finisher, and I do think, yeah, I don't think people can afford to give their neck up as much to me. I thought it was interesting that he chose to grapple against Jack. Jack is stylistically a grappler. That's his whole thing. Like his whole thing is just
Mm.
trying to get it to the grapple. Um, so the way that Jay Quinn took him down and then kind of beat him at his own game was pretty cool. Really really
Yeah.
cool. Uh, but I'm happy if he wants to try to wrestle. I don't think I'll be anywhere near as easy to put on my back. I also do think that if you put me there, you have a lot of threats. I think I'm a lot harder to hold down, and then I think I'm a lot more likely to lock up a submission on you. So yeah, I think I feel prepared for anything that this guy could offer at me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Becca maybe just had, like you say, a bad day or something at the office, because there was a point at the end where he had Park had the hooks in, and then he was doing the strikes, but he kind of didn't really turtle up and then just stand up out of it. He just kept getting flattened out, and I was like,
Yep.
"Ooh, that's not good." Like, he really needed to turtle up there so that he could just stand up out of it, because and he just wasn't protecting his head, at least on one side, and then control the other arm, like, or maybe control the RNC and then protect with the other hand. Because really, you can't really get Rene choked with just one arm. So as long as you've got that, then protect the strikes with the other hand. So, but I don't know, maybe it's his hair or something. He couldn't control it. It was like he just kept coughing it. I was like, oh, this is, and then getting flattened out each time.
Yeah,
Oof,
look,
that
to
was
me, to me, it looks like a mental issue that he went through. Look, when you watch me fight Quillen for the second time, I think I went through a very similar thing in the second round. In the first round, I was dominating him. In the second round, I just switched off. It was a crazy feeling, man. Like I was off with the fairies, thinking about other stuff.
mm,
And I wasn't doing any of the stuff that I would normally do in the gym to get away, to get to upgrade position, to like escape, to keep myself safe. I wasn't doing any of those things. Um, that's why you know, I can feel for him a little bit because I look at
yeah,
that and I see as something that, man, I've gone through that before. Um, but I think what I take away from that is that that's not really an accurate representation of
right.
Jae Quinn Park. I think Jae Quinn Park was just as surprised as everyone else when like he dominated Jack Becker in the grapple like that.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
so I think he's gotten a lot better in the grapple because Jaquin Park, in his previous losses that he's had, a lot of them were like he was getting out grappled in fights. So he's obviously worked on that since losing, and he's obviously gotten a lot better because he wouldn't be Jack Becker without that. Um, but I still think that there's levels to it, and I think I'm a lot better than him at grappling still. And I think if he wants to play that game, we can play that game. But I don't think it's going to end up very well for him.
Wow. Look, I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm really looking forward to the fight. I'm just going to do this last giveaway. I know that you've got to disappear. People have been putting hex in the chat. Thank you very much for that. Let me add this giveaway tool here, and then I'm just going to run this. So hashtag hex, last chance peeps. Hashtag hex in the chat, and let's see who wins 6 million pulse. Oh, 27 entries. Sweet. All right, here we go. Let's see who it is, and if it's True Blue or Clouds, we have to give it back. Last choice. Okay. Okay. Interesting handle there. Congratulations, last choice. You are the winner, sir. So please put your X handle in the chat so I can find you and then verify that I've got your Ethereum or PulseChain address. And hopefully they're there somewhere. They can give that to me. Hopefully they have an X account and that I can chase them down. But yeah, last choice. Congratulations. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And here we go. Last choice. Well done. So what's your Twitter handle, mate? Have you got like an @ and then something, just so I don't just randomly give it to someone else pretending to be you? Or just, yeah, hit me up in the DMs. Awesome. I think I'd better let you go. There's 358 live viewers, so quite a few on X and a lot on YouTube as well. So thanks everyone for joining us. And yeah, I better let you go. I might quickly talk about some other crypto stuff while we're here, but I just want to say thanks for your time, Dom, and really wish you the best in your upcoming fight for the semifinals. And I hope you go all the way to the final, get the UFC contract, and your lightweight champion. I think it's in the cards. It's just amazing to watch this journey, and I really wish you the best in the upcoming fight.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. All right, yeah. I'll keep going, but if you want to drop out or whatever, then and you got to get back to training, I suppose.
Yeah. Easy. I'll see you guys later.
Legend. Thanks, Dom. Cool. Wow. That was very exciting for me. And I think we are very lucky to have access to like an elite level fighter who will one day be, in the UFC. And just to see the insights and the breakdowns of some of those exchanges and fights, yeah, I haven't seen that before, where you have this access and then also like real time seeing his thoughts on some of the fights. So that's a real amazing, opportunity. And yeah, like Ash says, what a nice young man he is. So yeah, good luck, Street Buddha. That's awesome. Oh wow, cool. MVS Crypt does the epic threads on X. Check them out. I'll just wrap this up real quickly, but I thought maybe while I've got people here, we'll just have a quick look at some of the charts, see what's up in the crypto land. Mainly just a quick overview to see where we're at. So we've got Bitcoin here, 116.8K. Looks like it's just doing its thing, sitting on support, hopefully just ready to do the next leg up. Ethereum has been absolutely killing it. Looks like it's actually busting through resistance. So there's long-term resistance. If I go on the weekly, you can see here it's been rejected at 4K a few times, even after this epic move from really like 1500 up to 4000. Ethereum is, I thought it would run out of gas, and I guess it did because it kind of got rejected and it needs to build some momentum. But if it can break through this 4K barrier, retest it, I think we're going to start to see new all-time highs for Ethereum. So there's other things on the cards for Ethereum. There's things like the BlackRock ETF is going to be introducing staking for Ethereum. I think that's going to be huge. There's the stable coins. You can't get yield on stable coins. You can get yield through staking ETH. I think that's going to be a big sort of positive for Ethereum. And because PulseChain is like number 5, the Ethereum strategic reserve, I think that Pulse is going to benefit from Ethereum. It's a low benefit from Ethereum's move up. And because Pulse is lower liquidity, instead of getting like a 2x or something you might see from Ethereum at this point, you can imagine with lower liquidity, you can see a lot more X's. So that's what we're hoping. Pulse at the moment is sitting on a fib retracement support. So it actually went below it, above it, and it's just retesting it now. So I think it's in a good position, making higher highs. I think it's looking good. I think pretty much all of the PulseChain core coins have been doing really well. This is Hex, 1.255 cents, same deal, sitting at support on a fib support. I think traders are going to trade. I think this can go a lot higher. And I think once, the hyper bull phase starts to kick in, we're going to start to see this. I mean, Hex did a 10,000x. I think from the bottom, that puts it somewhere around like $3.69 or something like that from memory. But actually, that might even only be 1,000x. It might be like literally $30. But even if it went to like 10 cents, I mean, that's like just under a 10x from here. So serious opportunities in Hex. There's also some meme coins and things like that you can check out on PulseChain. There's the best way to get in probably is just using there's a libertyswap.finance. You can just literally bridge in from base Ethereum BSC, Arbitrum, straight to PulseChain, and you can buy PLSX, Hex on PulseChain, Inc, and Pulse, just direct bridge in. So yeah, that's what's up. We don't have much time left, I think, in this bull run. My gut feeling is it'll probably be done and dusted by the end of the year or early into next year. So if you haven't packed your bags already, like, up to you, but I would be allocating capital accordingly. I don't think retail's here yet. I think there's not much noise happening for crypto online. I don't see it. I see a few people here and there talking about it. Most people are just offside. So we really have to see the next leg up, maybe Ethereum to 10K or something, and then people are you're gonna start hearing on the radio and all that sort of stuff. So take your opportunities while you can. And yeah, I think PulseChain is where it's at. Nick Eddy, thank you for introducing me to Dom. It's only through Nick Eddy's connection that I was able to have that chat with him. So for massive shout out to Nick. He's such a nice, jovial young dude. He said, yeah, I mean, apart from being really nice and super intelligent in the way that and super self-aware of his own fighting, and yeah, you can really have a conversation with him about all sorts of, the art of fighting and these different styles. So yeah, he's a really, I think he's a really smart guy. And then, but just violent, like super violent when he gets in the cage. So amazing to see him. There we go. Got my handle. Cool. Thank you for that, Koala Got NFT. Appreciate that. That way I know who I'm giving the 6 million pulse to. So yeah, that was a good stream. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much to the chat for supporting us, and massive congratulations to Dom on his last fight. All the best going forward in the road to UFC. I hope he wins his next fight and continues. So yeah, thanks again, chat. Thanks, Dom. See you guys for regular DeFi Down Under next week. Cheers, guys.